you know my stance and you know I'm a principled person. I have stated very, very clearly that the CCJ is the way to go, and it is inevitable. Look, now people could have reservation and you have a right to, that's your business. But at the end of it all, we would have to handle our own affairs here in the Caribbean. We would have to have our own system, and I am simply saying the time is now. The time is here for us to do so. And look, we can have disagreements. We can look. I've stated on the program my position, and there are people who say straight up, Kem, I don't agree with your position, and they challenge and they say certain things, and I respect that. We should have a healthy debating going forward. Tomorrow we will have Joseph Roberts or some of his acquaintances or some of his colleagues to come in and speak about the CCJ, and you have the opportunity to ask a number of questions the same way. But I am telling you folks, you have listened to me many a years. I am confident that the CCJ is the way to go. It may not be perfect, and nothing in life is perfect. Nothing in life except God himself. But I am simply saying this is something that you need to look at. Give it a try. Look at it. Listen to the both arguments. I am convinced that the CCJ is better for this region than the Privy Council at this point in time. And I am saying it will be better for many, many years to come. So I am simply asking of you to vote yes for the CCJ.
Princess Alice Hospital's smart facility handed over to government. Details to this story and more when we return. With the details to the news for today, Tuesday, October 16th, 2018, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The Princess Alice Hospital is now certified structurally safe, more energy efficient and disaster resilient. Initial assessment of the hospital began in 2010 and it was subsequently retrofitted to become the first climate smart hospital on island by the UKAID, World Health Organization and the Pan American Health Organization. An official ceremony was held on Monday to hand over the smart facility to government. Minister for Health, Honorable Nicholas Steele, is pleased that Grenada has started the process of contributing to a greener, healthier community through its efforts to be more resilient.
A project whose primary goal is not just to focus on the physical retrofitting works, but to ensure that we are contributing to a safer, healthier, greener community throughout the Caribbean. PAHO has conducted a series of vulnerability assessments and studies of the infrastructure across the health sector since 2010. Most notably is the Hospital Safety Index, including recent vulnerability assessments and studies of the health sector infrastructure.
PAHO consultant Shalini Jagnaran says the Princess Alice Hospital has been outfitted with new and improved roof, hurricane shutters, mobility ramps, among other measures to ensure it is safer and more resilient.
We tried to address the most urgent needs. These included improvement of the structural safety of the roof to resist hurricane wind forces, improvement of the earthquake resilience of the facility, particularly under the maternity ward, which you'll see, installation of hurricane shutters, upgrade of the electrical distribution system, which improved efficiency but also reduced the risk of fires. Like Camille had mentioned, a lot of the money that was spent on this facility you will not see today because Grenada Princess Alice now has underground electricals. So this means that the risk in a hurricane is much reduced.
Amidst the physical scope of work done on the facility, the partnering organizations have also conducted capacity building sessions with members of staff.
Building resiliency in a health system also requires that the staff themselves become more aware of what their role is. Building a resilient health system also means that our staff must be committed to the highest quality level of care and to the highest efficiency. You must be able to provide care of such a standard to your peoples that they can be healthy and well, but that you have the ability to scale up when a disaster occurs.
PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa Etienne. A senior official from Sunwing Travel Group will be in Grenada in the next week to discuss the way forward following Sunwing's purchase of the Grenadian by Rex Resorts. During the weekly post-cabinet briefing on Tuesday, Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation, Honorable Clarice Modeste Kerwin, said while they were not privy to the details between both parties, she was confident the purchase will mean upgrading, resulting in more rooms and employment opportunities. The Sunwing boasts of brands like the Mystic, Starfish and Royalton resort brands.
We're going to be talking to them about those brands and which one we'd like to see. I can't say they will take what we say because it's a private purchase. But we're willing to work with them, and they be coming to meet with the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance and myself. I just got a notice, not the Starfish, that's the best one, it's the Royalton. So, I know someone who went to the Royalton in St. Lucia, and they were in high praise. So I hope we can get a hotel which people are in high praise of.
Minister Modeste Kerwin hopes the purchase of Rex by Sunwing Company will mean its legal matter with government will no longer exist. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then suddenly saw we hear bang, crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Welcome back. Health and environment leaders from small island developing states, SIDS, are in Grenada formulating a health and climate change action plan to be submitted to the World Health Organization for approval. The third Global Conference on Health and Climate Change is a response to the 2017 SIDS initiative, which highlights the urgency in transforming health services from the current model of curative services with escalating costs towards one based on disease prevention, climate resilience, and sustainability. Health was included on the Global Climate Change agenda during a recent conference in Fiji. Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, says the action plan takes into account the urgent need to incorporate resilience within health sectors.
By 2030, all health systems in SIDS will be resilient to climate variability and change. It also recognizes that this must happen in parallel while countries around the world are reducing their carbon emissions. And so I also want to appeal to all of you ministers to ensure that when you are getting ready to build a new health facility, hospital or clinic, that you ensure that the design is a smart design, and that you will take the opportunity within your budget as well to make some of your existing facilities much smarter.
The two-day conference will take a closer look at empowerment, resources, evidence and implementation of the SIDS initiative and a draft action plan. World Health Organization's Assistant Director General, Dr. Joyce St. John, said the draft plan must be submitted by October 22nd.
We need to submit the action plan for the global initiative to be considered by the World Health Organization Executive Board, and then on to the 2019 World Health Assembly. So we are here to absorb your clear messages and infuse them real time into the submission to the Executive Board. In the few months since this idea was first proposed, we have moved quickly to lay strong foundations, but the real building work starts here. We need you to define an ambitious but realistic action plan that will deliver on our common goal to protect the health of our island people in the face of perhaps the greatest challenge they have confronted.
Over 14 health ministers are present at the conference. And finally, in celebration of Grenada capturing the Global Markets Award for Minister of Finance for the year for the Caribbean, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, shared toast this week with his cabinet colleagues and staff in the Ministry of Finance. The Prime Minister continues to state emphatically that while the award may be designated in his name as Minister of Finance, it is an award to be shared by all Grenadians through the many sacrifices made during the period of the Structural Adjustment Programme and the level of support provided at various levels for the tough choices that were made to put the country back on a sound financial footing. In Cabinet, Dr. Mitchell noted that many in the region and in the international arena are praising the success of Grenada's Structural Adjustment Programme and the resounding growth that had ensued. He thanked members of Cabinet for their support, not only in terms of Structural Adjustment Programme, but for their overall commitment to securing the future of the country. Meeting with staff at the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Mitchell encouraged them to take credit for the award. That story just brought the curtains down on the National Report for today, Tuesday, October 16th. Let's recap the top story. Princess Alice Hospital's smart facility handed over to government. On behalf of everyone who made this newscast possible, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for viewing. Until next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about me, this is about all of you and all of us. But I want to say one thing before we start. In 1979, a number of our young people did something that reverberated around the world. Something that it may not have lasted forever, but has. In a world of no cell phone and no internet and no fax machine or nothing like that, has established institutions that today we are very proud of. MNIB, National Insurance Board, and the airport. You know, we should have been the first one signing on to the CCJ. We should have been. I don't know what happened, but given what we did then, we should have been the first. So keep that in the back of your minds with those of you who have all the excuses in the world as to why we shouldn't do it.
Grenada is about to embark on another historic mission of amending its constitution for the first time since its independence. From all indication, the push is for the changes to be made before the end of the year, 2 years after the first attempt failed.
I believe the CCJ is an important issue to take a second look at. And we're involving the same people, the community group, the legal professions, and other parties involved. And hopefully we'll have everyone playing a very united role in going forward. Because if we do not work together, then clearly it's not necessarily going to pass. And I think it would be a tragedy of justice for this country and for the Caribbean. But I think it's about time that we stop having faith in everybody else but ourselves. All people, jurists have served regional and international institutions around with distinction. And it would be, to me, almost an insult to say to ourselves that we cannot be responsible for justice in our country.
2 years ago, 8 bills were tabled for constitution change. But this time around, the focus is on one which, if successful, will see the Caribbean Court of Justice replacing the London Privy Council as the final court of appeal. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, who was re-elected to office by a landslide victory on March 13, 2018, says he intends to play an active role this time around.
And the CCJ so far has demonstrated that it has stood out in terms of its decision-making process. And no one can say that the governments who are now the countries that are now part of the CCJ are getting decisions based on the govern those in political office. So in that sense, the people should be very happy that it's very independent judicial process, and I certainly, as a Grenadian and a Caribbean man, I certainly would want to support it. I would play a much more active role this time than I did the last time.
The bill seeking the constitutional change is already out. It's called the Constitution of Grenada Caribbean Court of Justice and Other Justice-Related Matters Amendment Bill 2018, one of the 8 attempted 2 years ago. It includes almost everything in the 2016 bill, but removed are the sections that speak about the code of conduct for public officials and the swearing allegiance to the country. Debate has continued over the years about doing away with the Privy Council and replacing it with the Caribbean Court of Justice system, the CCJ. The Privy Council in London and the CCJ based in Trinidad are both a final court of appeal that retries civil and criminal cases if the original ruling is thought not to be satisfactory. But proponents argue that the CCJ, formed and operated by the Caribbean people, would allow for a sense of independence and would make access to a fair trial much easier.
The arguments in favor of independence, the CCJ being an independent court, and in fact, the CCJ being one of the most independent courts in terms of structure and appointment of judges, not just in the region, but it is used as a model for other courts, particularly in relation to financing and in relation to the selection of judges. And that ultimately is the test.
There have been some recurring points of concerns about the idea of the CCJ as Grenada's final court of appeal, access, cost, and the likelihood of political interference.
What the CCJ has done and what has been approved with respect to the CCJ is the setting up of this independent trust fund that is managed by a board of trustees. And what is important about that board of trustees and the composition of that board of trustees is that you have no politicians at all on that board.
Former Minister of Legal Affairs Elvin Nimrod tabled the bill in Parliament in 2016. Newly appointed Minister of Legal Affairs Honorable Kindra Mathurin Stewart says the implementation of the CCJ to Grenada will enhance the judiciary system of the trial and state.
For Grenada to have access to the CCJ as its final appellate court, that would mean for us here in Grenada that our people would have greater access to justice. As you know, with the Privy Council, persons had to travel far to England to access the Privy Council. But of course, the CCJ is right next door, and I believe, of course, with its location and its ease of access, that locals, ordinary people like me and you, would be able to have access to justice.
The Legal Affairs Minister says she believes there are competent experts here that are capable to execute the process.
I believe that we in the Caribbean are capable of creating and making our own jurisprudence. We don't have to depend on English judges and English folks to make jurisprudence for us. And I believe that we are well capable. We've had notable jurists and persons coming out or emanating from the Caribbean, CARICOM. And I believe that we possess that talent, we possess that experiences, and I believe that we are well poised to create our own jurisprudence. That in its sense alone too would basically signal, of course, a greater independence for us as an independent nation of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
In October of 2016, the Grenada Constitution reform was held, where citizens took to the polls to cast their ballots for or against the implementation of the CCJ as the final appellate court. Constitution reform process then was denied based on the outcome of the votes. Although CARICOM created the CCJ as a replacement for the Privy Council, it did not fully replicate the British system. Instead, it chose to copy certain practices while creating other divergent ones. Residents here say while they are willing to accept the change, there must be proper consultation on the subject.
Public education, and my first observation is that there are too many lessons, or if not lessons, too many chapters, or if not chapters, too many books to be learned within that space of time. The bills, the issues for the referendum, they are significant enough and far-reaching to have what I refer to as a limited time.
That of the CCJ, which country like Trinidad, Barbados, country which implemented that CCJ and they are ineffective already, they still go to the Privy Council for hearing in the jurisdiction. So we go into the CCJ now. We are neglecting the Privy Council and go to the CCJ. And them countries which are still implementing the CCJ, the Privy Council for a hearing. So how that go be looked when we neglect the Privy Council and go to the CCJ, and them countries which implemented the CCJ are still under the Privy Council.
During the swearing-in ceremony, after winning all 15 seats at the 2018 general election, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell reassured the nation that consultation and education on the process will soon resume.
As each of us seeks to protect and save our children, we must look out also for our neighbors' children and to the broader issue of justice. And as it is also related to our independence and to our national identity, we must open up a dialogue again about joining the Caribbean Court of Justice.
The National Democratic Congress is not and has never been opposed to the CCJ. In fact, previous administrations led by the NDC have done lots of work to push forward the work of the CCJ, and that can be attested to by Brother Peter David. The CCJ is another step towards the achievement of Caribbean unity. And in the NDC, we know that eventually, one way or the other, the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction will become a reality, not only in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean.
I go in and vote, you go in and vote, we go in and vote, Caribbean Court of Justice, she go in and vote, he go in and vote, they go in and vote, Caribbean Court of Justice. Grenada is a little island down here in the Caribbean. We've been through a lot in my lifetime, even revolution. And I must mention Hurricane Ivan. My dream is to see all the island come together as one. We voting yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. We voting yes, 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 yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm telling you, I go in and vote, you go in and vote, we go in and vote, Caribbean Court of Justice. She go in and vote, he go in and vote, they go in and vote, Caribbean Court of Justice. My people, remember, November the 6th, Caribbean Court of Justice is the best choice. Vote yes, the Caribbean Court of Justice. Up, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, man, I say one Caribbean people, so vote yes for our own Caribbean Court of Justice. How you mean? Warm to you, like that. Grenada! Don't stand up, babe. We have to vote for CCJ. Don't stand up, babe. CCJ going all the way. Just look at this, our own Caribbean Court of Justice. Yes, that good for we. Now we have to spend less money. I take a vote. You take a vote. We take a vote. Vote for Caribbean Justice. He take a vote. She take a vote. They take a vote. Vote for Caribbean Justice. Listen to this. I can't wait for no yes, for the Caribbean Court of Justice. Serious business, time we come together as one. What? One final court of appeal here in the Caribbean. A vote. You take a vote. We take a vote. Vote for Caribbean justice. He take a vote. She take a vote. They take a vote. Vote for Caribbean justice. How you mean? We are independent people. And if we are independent, then why can't we make an independent decision like our own Caribbean Court of Justice? I say yes, like that.
It's grand celebration, endless jubilation when independence day comes around. We keep saying we are free to chant our own destiny. There's no more mother country. But don't care how we dance up in the street, our independence is not complete. So come let we rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. Caribbean people, this is another chance to advance towards total independence.
Good morning to you, Grenada, Caribbean Primatic. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. My name is Sheldon Scott.
And I'm Devon Romain.
And it is Hard Talk. We're live on 97.5 City Sound FM, broadcasting, pulsating out of River Road in St. George.
89.5 CRFM, right out of the beautiful view in Manjaloo.
Yes, indeed. 92.9 on the Sister Isles of Carriacou, Sister Isle FM, broadcasting out of scenic Hillsborough out there in Carriacou, the Grenadines. Morning.
Yeah, and 94.9 We Vibes Radio in the cold New York City.
Yeah, just had to throw that one on them.
Just had
to throw that one on them.
Can't help it.
Indeed. And we're also live on YouTube, on Hard Talk Grenada on YouTube. Yeah, you could link us up on the YouTube vibes. Also, we are live on Facebook, Hard Talk Grenada live on Facebook, so you can go there and you'd be able to view and listen to us as well. All right, and just in case you don't know, my name is Sheldon Scott, and the next guy
and I am Devon Romain.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to give the phone numbers early so you can write it down, put it there. 4407377
and 347-329-3101.
Yes, indeed. And good morning to all of you on the live already this morning, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook. I'm seeing Hannah has reported for duty. I believe I'm seeing Sonia there. Linda and Claude and Augustine, all of you on the live this morning, remember to like and share the live. Like and share the live. We're closing in on Friday. We're going to do a special program on Friday. We're going to have some guests or a guest or some guests. Yeah. We're trying to get some guests in with us.
As much as possible.
Yeah, October 19th. We need to have a discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to have a discussion.
A discussion of
we walk with the tissues because we know does cry.
No, that is not, you see, and you keep saying that, that's not tears.
No, it's tears. And let me admit it, it's tears and there's a reason for the tears. Right?
Not tears.
We ain't laughing at you, you know. We're crying with
no,
you.
You can't laugh at me.
We're crying with you because it's serious business.
The position, I mean, it's
serious business. Serious business. So we're gonna get possibly definitely 2 guests in studio with us.
Would be nice. Would be nice if
there's a guest who would have been in studio with us. And that guest would have been the bomb, but circumstances beyond our control.
Circumstances beyond our control.
Yeah. So
would have been the ideal person to basically shed some light, you know, leading up to October 19th. And today is the 17th of October. Yeah, in 1983, the 17th of October, you would have find some little snippets of demonstration around St. Andrews, St. George's, and so just before the day, the 18th, when you had the first big demonstration in St. Andrews.
Where would you have been?
Well, I was at base in River Road.
So you
right?
was at the base.
Yeah, I was at the base there at the time. Gathering the news that little things of Eunice Whiteman and even Gemma Belma, and so they were basically whipping up a little support, and so by students and other persons who were opposed to the house arrest of Morris Bishop.
Yeah.
Another day in history.
Yes, indeed. And today, you want to know what meetings it have and activities it had. And let me say a special good morning to all those who came out to that CCJ Advisory Committee Forum last night in Caliste. Yeah, and I think we had some wonderful questions coming from the members of the community and so who attended yesterday's meeting. I'd like to congratulate you all, in fact, because I think the level of the questions were very, very high. Yeah? There's no such thing as a stupid question, but you couldn't even consider any of the questions last night in Caliste as being even looking like the stupid. Very, very intelligent questions. And so I'd like to congratulate all of you who turned out, and indeed the committee itself for the wonderful job that they continue to do. This morning we had Dr. Francis Alexis and Sir Lawrence Joseph were on GBN this morning.
GBN, yeah.
Yeah, and they really cleared up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
Persons, because you have persons out there who deliberately, misleading people as to the, some of the things. And we will get to them. Trust me. We will get to them.
Yeah.
And so on.
Come, let me rally around the CCJ. Right. Now, let me just sing. We have enough rain as it is today. Yeah. It's enough rain as it is without Sheldon singing.
No, Cathy, I wouldn't sing.
Miss Clytie, and I shouldn't sing. Right? And I shouldn't sing, I should behave. Nice. Okay, so I'll behave. Miss Clytie, once Miss Clytie say do it, I'm doing it. I'm behaving.
Morning to Carriacou and PD Martinique. Pleasant good morning. I hope the weather out there is beautiful, wonderful. Morning to all the people at
Paddy's Enterprise.
Paddy's Enterprise.
Hey, don't steady and don't call out Bullins and all them rest up. There's a lot of business places in Carriacou
that's listening.
Let
us know. Just give us a tweet and we know. Yeah. I mean, but in the meantime, we have to generalize because I'm out for some beating if I continue to personalize.
So. Hear about you when you try to pass you.
But good morning to all of you.
I was worried about a certain man stripping you naked when they're only in Carriacou.
Well, yeah, I'm considering going to Carriacou or not,
I have to go. I don't have a choice in the matter.
I may not have a choice either because we were very, very, very close, man.
Yeah, so I must go. And, yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, he had a little celebration at the Ministry of Finance with the staff there. Yeah. Because as Prime Minister continues to say, yes, he received the award, but the award is for the Grenadian people. And
it is.
The staff at the Ministry of Finance, they were the ones that put the structures in place under his guidance, did the real work to get this thing operating properly, whether it's the IRD, whether it's the drafting unit, whichever department there, statistics, because some people may wonder, well, how statistics is very important, because the statistical department, Mr. Brizan and the others, Ms. Clarkson, I wonder if Ms. Clarkson still in statistics. I haven't heard about her for a while. But yeah, those who get that information can then be used on different forums to be able to get grant funding for Grenada. So it's very important to have these statistics. Also, due to the statistics, you are able to make better decisions. It improves decision making in relation to what you are doing. So for instance, you decided that you want to widen a road in a particular area. But then when you check the statistics in relation to the volume of traffic in that area, you realize there's one vehicle that's passed there every 2 days.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make sense. But there may be another area that you have literally thousands of vehicles passing on a daily basis those funds can be shifted to. So statistics improves decision making. Even if it's something that NOWASA is going to do, water usage and increasing the volume of water provided to a particular area, you'd need the statistics to say, well, okay, there are X amount of farms and businesses in this area and X amount of homes in this area or schools and so on. So you need to increase and improve supplying water to that area. So that's how important the statistical department is. So when they go out there asking questions, that's why it's important to give them the proper answers.
Yeah.
When the statistical, and they'll have their badges and so they can show when they're coming and they're doing the different surveys and so. So that's why it's important to always give them the proper information.
And some of us always have the perception that when you see those persons out there gathering information and so, it's some government this or government. Yes, it's government, but it is part of what government does in the forward planning of our economy and everything like that, right? So we have to cooperate. We have to give correct information so the politicians and the and those persons who making the decisions could make accurate and good decisions for us. You know.
Depot leave a message there for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. Depot was a couple of days before. Yeah, they did.
What are you talking about?
They
are you talking about?
Goat and them fellas, Goatee and them. Yeah, these guys and them had something with the militia. They break open and took away weapons and so, because you know it's important to establish some of the little things leading up to October 19th. There were so many little frictions here and there. For example, the St. Paul's issue, right? The military had to move in and take away most of all the weapons, the remaining weapons there from the militia base because of the dissent, and persons were threatening to basically, go after the military for what has been going on. For example, the house arrest of Morris Bishop, right? There were other units around the country, militia units, that the weapons were taken away and brought back to the military base. And so River Road was one way we had to basically secure some of the weapons there from persons, because there was another unit there with us, exploration unit, and these guys were bent on coming and get their weapon and prepare for what has to come. So leading up to October 19th, when as the information comes in and persons are willing to talk, you would see that October 19th didn't really happen in isolation, right? There were a number of things that helped trigger that October 19th tragedy, right, on the foot. And it's very important.
On October 19th, we're going to have that discussion.
Yeah,
And stations, we're telling you all from now, we ain't going to be doing no 2-hour program. It's going to be longer than that. We're telling you all from now, it's not going to be a 2-hour program. It might more likely be a 3-hour program that we're going to do on Friday.
And we would really like persons who have information, knowledge, want to share with us. It's time for us to come out and share, right, this information, teach our young ones. And I have to mention, now, last night, Sheldon, I was listening to the Grand Lake debate, and there were two schools debating, SAS and the SDA in St. Patrick's. I think it's Montrose, and so. And the topic was the Thanksgiving, October 25th, right? The significance of it, why is it important and everything. But in that, there came out some very important information that a lot of people in Grenada, don't know. And I would really like persons to, if you can, go back and listen to the students of both schools sharing certain information that I'm amazed. That's people is out there, and it's good. It's good to see our young ones getting involved and researching. Some of it may not be as accurate, and so, because a lot of the books that were written, right, on the October crisis, a lot of it they have inaccurate information. So as much as we can share, inaccurate information, as much as we can share, those of us who had the experience of being there, and so, right, let us try to correct and share as much information as possible, and so it will be so good for our young ones. And
yes,
so,
indeed. And folks, as we said, we'll be having a further discussion on October 19th and the various surrounding issues and so on Friday. So let your friends and family know they can tune in. You might want to record that program if it doesn't record. You might want to record that one. Right? Nice?
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay. Yeah. We will let Devon retell his story, and we also have other people telling their stories as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, right? Nice. For those of you out there in Carriacou and the Petit Martinique, the Sister Isles, the Honorable Kindra Matthew Stewart, she'll be at the Mount Pleasant Government School from 6 p.m. this evening. So you can go on out there to that meeting. That's the Honorable Kindra Matthew Stewart and her team They'll be at the Mount Pleasant Government School this evening out there in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And I believe accompanying her should be the Honorable Emmeline Pear, the Minister of Education. So remember which school I said, the Mount Pleasant Government School. So I know that those of you, especially in Mount Pleasant, and Lisa, I know you going for sure. Yeah? Lisa Marie is the president of the Teachers Association at that school. The Parents Association at that school. So Lisa, yeah, tell your people, right?
Yes, well, she has to be there.
All right, so the Honorable Kincher Matthew Stewart and the Honorable Emmeline Pear, they'll be at the Mount Pleasant Government School this evening from 6 p.m. out there in Carriacou. And St. Andrew Northwest, the Honorable Delma Thomas, she'll be at the St. Mary's RC School in Lafayette. So you can go on out there and interact with your constituency representative and get a report on what has been done up to March 13th. Let me put it like this. What was done up to March 13th? What has been done between March 13th and now? And what will be done in the near, medium, and distant future? Yeah, so you can get a report. And you know Honorable Delma Thomas could talk. She's going to tell you exactly as it is. She's going to be truthful. She's going to tell you exactly as it is. So you can go out there, get a report. I mean, there are things that you have to hear about. And you have to hear about what's going on with the pensions. You find that issue get kind of quiet.
Yeah, get kind of quiet.
Yeah, so you have to hear what's going on with the pension because there are developments taking place with the pension issue. Remember, just a few months ago, some people got $7 million was shared up to some people who thought that in their lifetime they would never see that money. They never thought they would see it. Some of them pocket was heavy, you know. And if I remember correctly, I wonder if they get taxed on that, you know. I don't think, you know.
Well,
they may not have been taxed on that, you know.
I don't think so, you know, because there was an issue about that a couple of years ago, and I think government and unions had reached
because there was this agreement that the government had. I know it was in relation to severance and pension, I believe pensions as well. Yeah. So there's a high possibility that the vast majority of that these people go home with the money flush. Yeah, but you ain't hear nobody talking about that. They want to talk about all kind of things. They ain't talking about the fact that this government could have challenged straight up to the Privy Council or wherever, could have challenged the outcome of the case in relation to the Pension Act.
Yeah.
Government never did it. Wouldn't do it.
Stay away from that.
Yeah.
And you know, in making comparison, that's why I'm saying, I mean, we have as a people, we must be proud of the achievements we have made over the last 5 years, right? When you compare and you look at, I mean, our fellow brothers in Barbados, we are about to see, I mean, more than 1,000 jobs being cut over the next couple of weeks. And so, based on the situation with the economy, and it is a difficult thing for the Prime Minister to really do, but it has to be done, right? Look at Grenada. We have came up with...
Let me put it to you like this, Barbados. And this is why we have the number one. We ain't asking, we ain't guessing. We're telling the world that we have the number one finance minister. They say in the Caribbean, but we know worldwide we have number one. Yeah? Because Barbados, back in 2013, the Frundle Stewart administration sent home 3,000 workers. December of 2013. I can remember it was around Christmas time. They announced that they were sending home 3,000 workers. And then by January, February of 2014, these workers went home. Yeah? So you had that situation taking place. In December of 2013, the Frundle Stewart administration in Barbados announced that they were sending home 3,000 workers from the public service to try and right the ship estate of the Bajan economy. Yeah? That's what they said. They were trying to do that. But you know what happened? You know what happened immediately after that? Yeah? They had a situation where you had mother and father going home. Because sometimes the mother might have been in the Ministry of Agriculture and the father might have been in the Ministry of Education. And both of them received severance because they weren't looking at it like, okay, let's keep one member of the family. They were just cutting staff.
Just cutting staff, yeah.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley took office earlier this year, And in July, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said to the people of Barbados that sending home staff would be a last resort, that their sending home would be a last resort. They ain't going and send home people. It's a last resort. That's what Prime Minister Mia Mottley said in July. So for the Barbados government now to come in October, while Grenada ain't even having that discussion, what we're discussing right now is, number one, making sure that those nurses and teachers get permanent within the system. Yeah. That's what the Grenada government is focusing on, not getting rid of. Making sure that those get permanent, and then making sure that those already in the system who completed their time or who have completed their time receive their payments. Meanwhile, flip side, in Barbados, the Prime Minister who said that that would be a last resort has gotten to her last resort. She's looking to send home 1,500. And we feel it for her. Yeah. Because she a Grenadian, eh? So we feel it for her. It's not that she has gone back on her promise, eh? She stated that it would be a last resort. So it means that she has come to her last resort.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's a difficult economic situation in Barbados. And we've been following it for the last 5 to 10 years. And
you mean in the last 5 years, 4,500 workers in the public sector in Barbados have been cut? Meanwhile, in Grenada, how much we cut?
None. Zero. Zip. But we added.
Zero.
Yeah, we increased on the employment of our country.
You used to watch Caribbean Championship Wrestling. The time a guy used to do the announce. He used to say 0, 0, 0. You can call us a 0, 0, 0. That's the number of workers that went home here in Grenada. 0, 0, 0.
So we have to be proud of our achievement. No wonder why that you have our Prime Minister being and his team, and Grenada well receiving that award as best in fiscal management and all these sort of things. It is
you don't have public workers in Grenada holding their head and bawling right now about oh gosh they're going and cut staff, I might get sent home. We don't have that discussion taking place here
at all.
Our discussion is, listen, we're working out a pension for all you.
Yeah.
All you already get all your increases into next year and year after already. So we're working out now. And
gratuity and that sort of thing. Imagine
so when certain people try to spin the thing political and they want to try and interfere with the workers in the health sector and asking Prime Minister to take back something he didn't say, when they start to go that direction, what happened Saturday is what going to continue to happen. Yeah, you can't blame the workers and them. They're seeing what's going on in other countries, They are seeing clearly. They are seeing clearly what's going on.
And more, the workers are beginning to get more involved, seek more information, not just taking information from their leaders or so, but seeking information all around to help them make good decisions. And so gone are the days when unions and organizations would have just gathered their workers or their unit and just tell them things. No, people are seeking out information, right, and making decisions that will basically be good for them in the future.
You see, I think one of the problems that some of the political activists out there fail to understand is that the people they're talking to living in the same country that they're talking about. So when they go out there and they speak falsities, they're speaking to the people who know that what they're saying is nonsense.
Exactly.
And therefore, they are attempting to disrespect the intelligence of these people. That's what they're doing, attempting to disrespect the intelligence. There is this prevailing mindset among certain political parties who are not the New National Party in Grenada. There's this prevailing mindset among them, because it's not just the NDC, it's other political parties as well.
Yeah.
There's this prevailing mindset that everybody in Grenada unintelligent, so that they could tell them something and they're going to just believe it.
And dictate to them.
And especially if they bring Mr. So-and-so and Miss So-and-so to say it, that people could just say, well, if they say it, it had to be true.
Yeah, gone are the days for that.
Those days done, brother. Those days done. And hey, New National Party Convention is coming up.
Oh, yes.
28th.
28th of October.
28th of October. Yeah. This month, people, not next month. The 28th of October at the Grenada Boys Secondary School.
Yeah, GBSS.
Going to put on my green again, but
That day I go with my GBSS badge with my green T-shirt.
You feel as a prefect
but,
still.
But then that's the colors of GBSS anyways. The original colors green. When GBSS going to intercall is green.
Yeah.
So I put on my badge on that day, right? Because I'll be in GBSS.
Yeah. So the 28th. So folks, those of you who are interested in coming down to the convention of the new National Party, you need to contact your local representatives, contact your constituency representatives. You know who they are. Contact your constituency representatives. They'll give you more information in relation to the entire thing. Yeah. So contact your local constituency representatives. They can help you organize your transport. And so 8 minutes to the hour of 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, boy. Time kind of fly on us this morning.
Time generally, flies quick these days,
But every time you listen to what's going on in other countries and then you listen to Grenada, you have to say we are a blessed country.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine St. Kitts, a country with a population less than us.
What, 56,000 people?
Yeah, and they had 20-something murders for the year or something? Or
more than that. I think it was 40 in the 40s.
So the 20-something maybe was in a month or two?
Yeah, perhaps.
Because I know they had a spate.
Yeah.
They've actually had to call on Barbados to send police officers over to St. Kitts now.
St. Lucia also.
To assist them. Yeah. So imagine this sort of situation existing in other countries. And then we have the Royal Grenada Police Force here in Grenada, who does such an excellent job. In relation to not only detection of crime, but solving crime. It doesn't have murders in Grenada easy that they can't solve, they can't tell you. Even if it take 10, 15, they're coming back. It has some police officers, they like to just click on it. Yeah, let me check on that one. And then they find in who do it.
And even the whole question of prevention of crimes, because we have seen over the last couple of months and so that the Royal Grenada Police Force has been going out in the communities, bonding with community persons and so sharing information and just helping, prevent. The recently
retired commissioner was a boss, and the present commissioner is a boss.
And they have been, and you could see the relation in terms of the direction they have been going. You didn't see a new commissioner comes in and the whole thing just fall along. No, a continuation of some of the things that has to be implemented. And I really admire them with that whole community spirit, the way they go out.
That's why we'll always do anything for Police Week and for the police and them. That's why we'll always broadcast and do anything for the Royal Grenada Police Force. When they have Police Week, they know they know the studio open to them.
Anytime.
They have the ads and things for the different police activities. They know they could send it to us. Whether it's the Coast Guard unit, the fire department, the police force, or even if it's the prison service, they know they can always contact us.
All about. They do it. And good morning to all of them. All of them serving, protecting our country. Beautiful morning to you. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me find out something. You in Hawaii still, man?
Yes, I'm in Hawaii. It's now now about 5 o'clock. In the morning, I know all you have to wake me up so early and giving me wrong time.
Aloha.
No, I have a couple of quick questions. Last week, I think on the news, I heard a gentleman from a union was saying that I think they was going to escalate some kind of demonstration or what, because the government is not paying or is retracting this agreement that has to do something with the pension. Now you're saying pensioners got paid some money, so this is confusing to me.
No, listen, we're talking about two categories of pensioners here. There are a category of pensioners, that's what the Hermelin Armstrong case dealt with. Those pensioners are between 1983 and 1985. Those persons who entered the service during that period. Now, while the act had been passed in 1983, it was not officially put in place until 1985. Ms. Hermelin's Armstrong case was that because it was not instituted until 1985, all of the persons between 1983 and 1985 should have been treated as the other people who were receiving their pension who were in the service before 1983. Right? Government could have challenged that, but it didn't challenge it. and it made a payment to those persons, some 40-something or 50-something persons.
50, 55.
And it cost government over $7 million to make that payments to those persons. But government even went further. Now, that didn't say that government had to pay anybody after 1985 any pensions. No. That's not what was won in that Ermlin Armstrong case, eh?
Right.
It did not say that government should pay anybody after 1983 a pension. But government, of its own free will, decided to engage the unions and so on to provide for those people now between 1985 up to the present time. And that is what is being discussed right now. There may be a contention on one issue within the process, but there is a process and it is ongoing.
Okay,
yes, so it's two different sets of people.
The gentleman, I think his name is Lloyd Lewis, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
The way he is putting it is that government made a commitment, and now they're pulling back of the commitment that they make. He makes it sound bad, you know, and I don't know why. So that's one. But I'm not even hearing anything. I think NIS, I think we're supposed to have a non-national is an insurance or something like that.
National health insurance, yeah. So
I'm not hearing anything about that anymore. I'm not sure if that's still in the work.
Yes,
if
it
that's
is.
out the door.
No, it still is. And
It's
you see,
ongoing.
that's why we're telling people about these meetings, like the one in Carriacou this afternoon at Mount Pleasant Government School for 6 with Honorable Kindra Mathurin Stewart and Honorable Emlyn Pear, and the other one in St. Andrew Northwest with the Honorable Delma Thomas and her team.
You will get information.
You could get information on those things. They speak about the national. Some people think these meetings are CCJ meetings. No, these meetings are constituency meetings where you could get that information on the health insurance. You get the information on things like the pensions, where the pensions are at, and other issues. And you could also hear about the CCJ at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think people may have been misunderstanding when we're saying these meetings and thinking, well, oh, there's a CCJ meeting, I ain't going. No, it's a meeting where you can hear about the updates on all of these things.
Well, I think in all fairness, when a meeting has been advertised, I think it should be there should be some headlines. What would be discussed in the meeting so that people would know.
I take note, and you're absolutely right, my friend.
I think that should happen.
I take note, and I'm glad you raised the issues that you did raise, and I believe that you're 2,000,000% right, and even more than that. So I will endeavor that each time we announce these meetings now, I'm going to take your advice, and I'm going to make sure that we say these are some of the issues that will be coming up. You're absolutely correct.
Okay. And then I want to speak to my people in Carriacou one more time again. Now, if you have a legal problem, don't study this gentleman who wants to represent you. Local government cannot help you in a legal battle. So let's put aside what he says. You have days counting down. I wouldn't be able to vote, to come down to vote. I have more important election where I did. Well, to me. To me.
Oh, boy.
So,
you could vote in Hawaii, right?
So,
you could cast your vote in Hawaii, right? You don't have to be in your state of Florida to cast. You could cast in Hawaii. Or you're going back to Florida in time.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay.
But the thing is, the CCJ is very important for us as a Caribbean people, as a Grenadian people. It's also a cheaper quote for us. It's a cheaper alternative. And if we don't, as far as I understand, if we can't afford, the court would still hear our case. My God, if you're getting all that, why would you say to people, let's focus on local government instead? That is not making sense. That is a very foolish argument, and I don't think anyone in his or her right mind should make that argument. And the court is not political. It's not like the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Let people know that. This is a whole completely different thing. So, gentlemen and Grenada, have a good day, and I'll keep listening on air.
And Leslie,
right.
as we say at the end of training, us.
All right,
brother.
Later.
Yeah, you understand what I mean by that one. Yes, indeed, folks. 440737. Let's say a special good morning to Cammy. She has sale going on down there.
Yes, Cammy has
Let's go and buy out Cammy. She has sale going on down there. Go and tell Cammy we send you. Yeah, and in case all you want to pass by Helen Marie too, well, you can make a little pass by Helen too. Yeah, man, go and take in the little uniform and thing. And, you know, get a little something soap and all kind of thing. We know December coming up. A lot of people does get married at the end of December. And so fix up.
I want to big up Dali. Yeah.
Dali sewing.
Dali sewing. Dali put on some works there for a young lady that's close to me. And I look at it, well appreciated.
Dali's a boss, you know.
Yeah,
although she doesn't listen to us again.
Yeah, she... she could get to listen.
Somebody
she could get the message.
Somebody tell Dali we say she doesn't listen to us again. Hey, you know, as I saying that, man, up there close to the fish market, there's a good listener of ours. I'm forgetting the name, and one of the little boots and them facing the fish market there in Grenville. I'm trying to remember the name.
Facing the fish market.
A lady, she's there, man. Last time I was in Grenville, I made sure I passed.
Describe a lady.
Hello.
Good morning, Cammy.
Morning.
Morning, I'm Sheldon Scott.
Morning, my
and
love.
Devon Romain. Good morning.
Morning, darling.
And good morning to all my friends, Mr. Deputy, Patricia, Matthew, Mr. Watt, Zingo, my friend in England. Everybody, good morning. I kind of done this morning. I won't lie for you, Sheldon.
You miss them.
Nothing I could do this morning.
Oh, no.
You know what name Chili Bibi? Chili Bibi, you know,
yes.
You ever hear that name?
Yes, is that's what they call Asham in Trinidad, Chili Bibi?
Okay, well, I had Chili Bibi.
Yeah.
At Trinidad, yeah, and that tells me the name is Chili Bibi. So I said every call you because I know you know that name.
Yeah, man. Chini Bibi is
so
what you
call it. So we are Asham today. Yes.
What a person.
And I'm there and I'm asking for prayers.
You see, Asham.
Even down to my enemies, I want them to pray for me.
Yes.
And I want to say good morning to Miss Yolande, her husband, and to my cousin and his wife, Darlington Chase, better known as Bush. They're going back. God bless these two people. You understand?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot be ungrateful to people that is good to you.
Never.
You understand me? And this is two loving people that care about me. Darlington, better known as Bush. That is Devon cousin, you know.
Yep.
That is Devon cousin.
Bush Romain.
Yes. So I want to say good morning again to everybody, Mr. David, the Prime Minister, and I have a nice little friend from Guam, Miss Lucy, come and look for me. She can't walk like me without pain. So, you know, I just hoping that everything will work out right for me. And if people come in and they buy, you know, we have people that come in and give me a little sale.
Nice.
I make a little sale. So
Each one bring one.
That's what I'm supposed to do. You have who rejoicing, and those that is rejoicing over me, I still want them to pray. You understand?
Yep.
So you all have a great day.
All right, Cammy.
I not too much to say today.
Okay,
have
my
a blessed day, you and Devon.
All right, darling. All right.
All my friends in England, America, Canada, I'm all right. Today is a little rainy Grenada. But people are on their business back and forth. And morning to the doctors, Dr. Thomas, Winston Thomas.
Yes, man.
And Dr. Mark Leach and Dr. Philip. And Nurse Perrott, Nurse Jacob. In the General Hospital, all the nurses. Good morning to you all. And have a good day, Devon and Sheldon. Sheldon?
Yes, my love.
All right.
If you listening me, I don't get the thing.
Okay.
But with the pass, I could show you one I have.
Okay, I'll check you. Okay. I'll check you when I'm done.
You know
because I need it. Yes, I'll check you as soon as I'm done.
I can't hear you.
I'll check you as soon as I'm done.
Yeah, but you know, I think I get you on another station, you know. 89 something I get you on.
89.5.
Yes.
Okay, my dear.
All right, darling.
All right.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
All right, Cammy.
Bye-bye.
Love always.
Miss Grant and Miss Smith. Good morning.
You're two girls.
I'm waiting on something they have to do for me. I'm waiting. Bye-bye.
All right, Cammy.
Yeah, Cammy.
You know Cammy must call Kish.
Yeah, Kisha Newland.
Kish, morning.
Hey, I want to say a wonderful morning to some good people visiting. Happen to be my family, brothers and sisters. Leonard, happy birthday to you, my brother. Leonard Romain, yeah, who's visiting. His wife also is here. And I have two other sisters here, Val and Denise. Good morning to all of you. Yeah, it's a special. Not everybody. That's just 1% of my father's children. You know, I call 4 there. That's just 1 or 2% of them. So imagine. Good morning, Vicky.
Something like my grandfather did with him.
Boy, my father had children. Up to now, we're trying to count on the fingers, and he have some running around, and we can't find them.
As you're talking about children, you remind me of the St. Dominic's RC School, because tomorrow, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, he will be holding his meeting at the St. Dominic's RC School. I believe Senator George will be there as well. So that's at the St. Dominic's RC School in St. David for 6 p.m. So as our good friend Leslie said, and he's absolutely correct, come out and hear about different aspects of governance since March the 13th. You're going to hear about the pension plan. You're going to hear about that. You're going to hear about the finances of the country. You're going to hear about the national health insurance. You're going to hear about what has been done in St. David and what will be done in St. David. And so because we're getting ready to go into budget. Budget is coming up at the end.
Cycle.
Yeah, it's coming up just at the end of November.
Yeah.
So the budget will be there. So come on out and here. I think we have a caller online. Let's go to the phone line.
Good morning and welcome.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning to you, sir.
Brother Zelda, I just want to extend compliments to Dr. Francis Alexis and Dr. Lawrence Joseph on the delivery this morning on the To The Point program. I think they did justice to the yes vote for the CCJ. They dispel quite a bit of the doubts that were attempted yesterday on the said medium. You know, and I think really and truly, having listened to the two gentlemen today give clarification on all the issues, I think it is really the best thing the opposition can do, really, is to, as some members have already done, to give the CCJ its unconditional support and convey to the general population the wholehearted approval of that process, and so generate the necessary confidence in our people that is necessary at this point in time. Really and truly, this question, consolidating our independence, is tantamount to a 1974 occasion. And really and truly, I think it's a great disservice for persons to continue to ask questions that has been answered and clarified by former judges of the Caribbean Court of Justice and the esteemed Dr. Francis Alexis here and Dr. Lawrence Joseph. There is absolutely, I would say, all the doubts, all the questions, all the speculations have been answered, have been clarified. Do what is right for the people, and let us stop being narrow and partisan. This is an occasion where Grenada and Antigua are seeking to demonstrate to the rest of the Caribbean that we need to move forward in a more determined way and really approve what we have already established in the name of the people of the Caribbean. I just thought I'll highlight that because I think it's very necessary. Yesterday it was rather disturbing to hear the extent to which these persons sought to sow and engender doubt and confusion and ambiguity. I am really happy that today there has been clarification, irrefutable clarification by the two gentlemen, and I just hope Grenadians understand that indeed the CCJ is a positive and it's in the benefit of all of us. I was even happy to hear that you say last night the gathering at Calais was also a positive occasion. I just think that the advisory committee and forward thinking, positive thinking Grenadians from all sectors and aspects of our population continue to say to the world and to the rest of Grenadians that indeed we should go the way of the CCJ on 6th November. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Doc. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. As with all things, and like Calais last night, you would want to see more people out. You always want to see a packed room. You didn't have a packed room, but you had some very probing questions, some very intelligent probing questions coming from those that were gathered there.
The clowns wasn't there, huh?
No, nobody from the traveling circus of no. Okay. Nobody from the traveling circus of no. Yeah, the traveling circus of no.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. But perhaps they're getting the message.
Remember, we have the forum this evening in St. Patrick. Let's see how many members of the traveling circus of no appear.
The Anglican school, they will show their face.
Yeah. And folks, again, because we want to clarify what we're saying so people can't say we say what we say. Yeah? We are going to St. Patrick this evening, and we know that usually you have some members of the traveling circus of no. Not everybody that says no is a member of the traveling circus of no. But you have some people who try to attend every forum to ask the same question and expect the same answer and eat up everybody else's time. So other people who come to the forum don't have an opportunity to ask their questions.
That is sad. Cannot allow that.
And we have to see it for what it is. It happened at the Trade Center. It happened again in St. David. It happened at the Duluth Cinema in St. Andrew. It happened in St. John. They're just traveling around forum to forum, every radio, and in fact one of them called today. At least I heard one because in and out from the program. They call every radio and television program. They attend every major forum and ask the exact same questions, tying up the time, lengthening the forum until people now get tired and they want to ask a question, but when they see so-and-so get up, sometimes they say, well, maybe my question not as important. And they go trying to create confusion in the minds of the general population. Yeah?
Because see, children, I mean, we have to call it for what it is, It's a deliberate effort by these people to get people to back away from educating themselves about the CCJ. They continuously come in most of the forums and asking the same questions, getting the right answers, but continue doing that. That's deliberate.
That's deliberate.
Yeah, it's deliberate. And they need to stop that. We like to see persons come out and share their views, ask questions. But when you become, in my view, pests, right, on the whole proceedings, it's not beneficial to us as people.
It no longer has anything to do with fact. It no longer has anything to do with wanting to see the best for Grenada. It has everything to do with the traveling circus of billing an individual profile for themselves. In one instance of a particular lawyer, mark my words today, you're going to see that lawyer deeply involved in politics within the next 5 years. Remember, if Sheldon said it, no.
If all of that.
You're going to see that lawyer within the next 5 years deeply involved in politics, becoming a member of a political party or starting their own.
Yeah.
That is the reason they're attempting to build a national profile for themselves and appearing all over. Yeah? They're not interested in the bill itself. They're not interested in seeing the CCJ in place. They're interested in their own selfish thing.
And I continuously to ask myself, why? Why are these persons continue to do things like that? Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Hey, Devon, good morning. Good morning, Sheldon.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Good morning. I am just calling to add my congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister on the achievement of being considered to be the Finance Minister of the Caribbean. I also want to add that congratulations to Timothy and Twine, another Grenadian who is making Grenada proud, serving in the central bank. I look forward, Devon and Sheldon, to November 6th. I know it's going to be a historic day for Grenada.
Maybe for the U.S. as well?
That Grenada is ready to move to the CCJ.
Let's ask that.
And I just also want to
hello
congratulate all of the Grenadians in the diaspora, not just nationally, but who are making Grenadians proud all over the world. Our name is just all over, not just nationally, but regionally and internationally. So we're just doing great, and Grenada can look forward to more advancement as we head towards the end of 2018 and the commencement of 2019. Gentlemen, have a great day.
All right, thank you so very much. Yes, indeed. I wanted to ask if it's going to be a historic day for the U.S. as well, because I believe that's our good friend from California.
Yeah, I think it will be. In my view, just listening and following some of the debates and that sort of thing is very interesting.
I'm going to go over my data over the weekend. I'm going to go over my data over the weekend, and I'm going to see. Yeah, I'm going to find out. Hey, also, remember, Antigua is also going to the polls on the 6th of November. They're going to the referendum on the same issue as Grenada. They're going to the polls on that particular day. Sometime within the next few minutes, I want to play for persons. One of how the opposition in Antigua is speaking about the CCG, and then flip it with what you're hearing here in Grenada now. Yeah, what you're hearing now. Now, you've been hearing the NDC saying all the time that they support the CCJ, they support the CCJ, they support the CCJ, and now all of a sudden,
they flip.
It's a flip on the entire thing.
I mean, but that, knowing the NDC, you know what they stand for, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
See, they take all that thing from their former leader.
Then we go just tell them like Talpri say.
Yeah, man. I say one Caribbean people support yes for our own Caribbean court of justice. How you mean? Warm to you like that. Grenada. Don't stand up, babe. We have to vote for CCJ. Don't stand up, babe. CCJ going all the way. Just look at this. Our own Caribbean court of justice. Yes, that good for we. Now we have to spend less money. I take a vote. You take a vote. We take a vote. Vote for Caribbean justice. He take a vote. She take a vote. They take a vote. Vote for Caribbean justice. Listen to this. I can't wait for November 6th. We voting yes for the Caribbean Court of Justice. Serious business. Time we come together as one. What? One final court of appeal in the Caribbean. I take a vote. You take a vote. We take a vote. Vote for Caribbean justice. He take a vote. She take a vote. They take a vote. Vote for Caribbean justice. How you mean? We are independent people. And if we are independent, then why can't we make an independent decision like our own Caribbean Court of Justice? I say yes, like that.
Yes, indeed. Yet, I take a vote. You take a vote.
Hey,
good morning.
Devon,
I hope you're taking a vote, you know.
Devon, Brother Sheldon, I understand the CCJ is the way to go. I call it, appealing to all Grenadians who registered to vote. Come November the 6th, let us all go out and vote yes for the CCJ. And when we go out, let us go out with a passion for love and care for one another. Because CCJ is, voting yes for the CCJ is the code that will give us justice for all. Right? It brings you justice for all. So I want to say, let us go out and vote yes for the CCJ, because CCJ is what we need. And CCJ is the code that will make us happy and make us proud as bring unity to each and every one of us in Grenada, Caribbean people, and through the Caribbean. Because you have the Privy Council, which is our final code, but access to get to the Privy Council could deny when you don't have the finance. But with the CCJ coming on stream, we give easy access to all, for all to get justice. So I want to say to Grenadians, Let us put aside our differences. Let us put politics behind, because the CCJ is not our political issue. It's a national issue. So let us go out and vote yes for the CCJ because we care, and if we care for one another, I want to see justice for all. We vote yes for the CCJ. So, Brother Devon, Sheldon, you all have a wonderful day. God bless you all.
All right, thank you so very much.
You have a good day.
440-7377. That's the number you can call.
347-329-3101.
Yes, and again, a good morning to all of you onto the live this morning.
All of you.
Yeah, good morning to all of Depot. Yeah, I think I interfere with you for the morning. Good morning to you,
Depot. Well, I know you're voting already. Come that midterm. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so we're going to be voting, whether you're in the U.S., whether you're in Antigua, whether you're in Grenada.
Grenada, it's voting time.
And the thing here in Grenada, we have the opportunity to correct something that is an anomaly within our constitution. Yeah, we have an opportunity to fix something before somebody forces us to fix it.
Or before that thing fix us.
Yeah, you have people saying, I don't know if these people have a map that the UK handed to them and told them when they're going to abolish the Privy Council, because the Privy Council will be abolished.
Oh yeah.
It's not guesswork. It's not if, what, or but about it. They will abolish the Privy Council sooner rather than later. They've been saying to us that, look, you have your own Caribbean Court of Justice. You've paid for your Caribbean Court of Justice. Why should we be spending thousands of pounds to maintain a court for you? Because I'm going to say this, if on the 7th of November, the vote that was taken on the day before does not establish the CCJ as the final court of appeal for Grenada, be certain that sooner rather than later, you will have that same process to go through again. And this time, you will not have an option of whether to vote yes or no.
No choice.
It will be basically a window dressing of a referendum that you will have to have afterwards, where the only option will be to say yes. Because saying no, you wouldn't be able to say no, because there'll be no Privy Council to go to. There'll only be the Caribbean Court of Justice. There'll be no Privy Council to go to.
You see, and that's the thing, Sheldon. There are some persons within Grenada who continue to just want to let people tell them what to do. You understand? And not decide for themselves. Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Chef Scott.
Morning.
Yeah, well, last 2 weeks where I suffer, I ain't hear all you.
Oh gosh, yeah, there's a problem with the frequency.
But from Friday, I think from Friday he came back, so you can't vex you so when they don't vote, because I see, remember this whole slave mentality, and remember there are some people is descendants of our slave stealers, so I don't really go around and look and say you in the world you must find that you must find people still want Elizabeth as the leader still. So I don't really vex you. All I just say, plantation mentality still remains with a lot of our people. You take care, man, and Devon, I hope everything all right back now.
All right, my brother. Yeah, everything is all right for the time.
You know, Devon, there's a book. It's an extremely difficult book to lay your hands on. But it's a book that I believe people who really want to understand certain things about Grenada need to read. It's called the Grenada Handbook. It dates back to the year 18-something.
Handbook.
1892 or somewhere there it dates back to. If you really want to understand the mindset of some people, you need to go that far back in that booklet. They have some drawings and so on of some parts of Grenada that look nothing like that again. The Grenada Handbook. It's interesting. A very, very, if you want to understand the present mindset in relation to agriculture, you'd be very surprised that what is being said about agriculture now in 2018 was being said in 1895 and those kind of years and them there. You'd be very surprised that a lot of the same things that was being said then are still being said when it comes to agriculture. For instance, one of the things, let me leave that alone for now. But I'll get it because I want to quote directly from the book. I'm gonna get the book, my copy of it, and I'll quote directly from the book itself. But it's very interesting. About 2 weeks ago, I asked a question online. I asked individuals if you have to recommend reading for several people, if you have to recommend 10 books that every Grenadian should read, if you have to recommend 10 books that every Grenadian female should read, 10 books every Grenadian male should read, and 10 books every Grenadian youth should read. And, you know, it was kind of strange in that the selection very rarely mentioned any Grenadian books written about or by Grenadians.
Right. Okay.
Very rare it mentioned anything like that. I got down to Frantz Fanon.
So
I got books. I think the main one that came up a few times was Maurice Bishop Speaks.
Yeah.
That came up a few times. The autobiography of Malcolm X, I think, came up once.
What about the island in conflict?
That never came up.
No, that never came up.
Never came up in the listing, and it says a lot, eh?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It says a lot. Imagine Big Sky Little Bullet came up by Maurice Patterson, and one or two other books.
I mean, we need to get most of these materials, you know, where it is easily accessible to our people, right? Especially our students, and so.
Yeah, because
you know?
then you understand why certain things happen in the way they happen.
They happen right here in Grenada.
Then maybe those people who trying to interfere with the public workers and then want to cost the public workers on the back. Imagine you have leadership within the public workers union, and I could back up what I'm saying, and that's why I'll say it. You have leadership within the public workers union that go attacking the public workers and saying that the public workers defending government because they have no clue. I mean, it's like, you know, when you're on this show, what do you call it again, Wheel of Fortune? You had to buy them a vowel. They have no clue to the answer to the question. Yeah, they wonder why you would call this big activity and you promote and you push, and then you get 30-something people at the most. And you're wondering why. Well, let me tell you why. While Barbados is now announcing that they're sending home 1,500, Grenada is trying to provide for several thousand. That's why that sort of thing happens. You're in the process of complaining when other countries are going through some serious harder times than us. Imagine that right now. You have people who are going into the Christmas season, who are going into 2019 out there in Barbados, and they are fearful that they'll have to be seeking employment. They don't know where the next dollar is going to be coming from when they've been sent home. In Trinidad, you have thousands of workers in the oil sector who are receiving letters of retrenchment. Meanwhile, in Grenada, you have 800 young people, 850 young people, male and female, entering a program under the Ministry of Youth. So look at the contrast, eh? Look at the contrast. Trinidad, thousands of people working in the oil sector, and don't look at it as just the people in the oil sector, because when they go home, then the associated services go home, the downstream services. So you literally have thousands of others who will be going home too. Thousands of other people who provide services, be it the people who provide meals, the catering services for when people work overtime and so, or who supply many of the materials and the equipment and the uniforms, etc., that's used by the people within the service. Those people, business going down, they have to send home people too. That's the discussion taking place in Trinidad right now, you know. Severance letters to the people who work within Petrotrin, and on the sidelines, the people who work to the people who work in Petrotrin. They are receiving their severance letters as we speak. And now you have Barbados saying they are going to send home at least 1,500 workers. This after sending home 3,000 early 2014. They announced it in 2013, but sending home over 3,000 people. So 3,000 plus 1,000, that's 4,500 people within the last 5 years. But you had no retrenchment taking place in Grenada. But there are people out there trying to preach to make you think that Grenada is such this terrible place. And while they're doing that, not understanding that they're speaking to the same people who are here in Grenada who ain't receiving no retrenchment letters. You interfering with nurses and telling nurses that they're on contract. Thank God they're on contract. Because the contract they was looking at prior to 2013 was contract on the road cutting bush. That's what one or two of them were reduced to, coming and ask for a contract on the road to go and cut bush. That's what they were reduced to. And with a contract comes a salary at the end of the month. They could talk that. During the time of the NDC, they could not even speak that because they were unemployed. They weren't on contract. They weren't in the permanent service. They were on nothing. They were unemployed, trained nurses. Now they are within the system. Many of them have already been taken off contract. The process of removing all of them off contract continues. And you're going to have people saying that, oh, come out and protest against the government. Come out and protest against the government that take them out from unemployment onto contract and then in permanent service. That's why what happens to you happens to you.
Yeah, they have no clue.
They're saying, look at the teachers. The teachers, several hundred teachers, people who've been in the teaching service 15 years and more, that were on contract. Every September they had to stay home and wait for a call. Every September they had to stay home and wait for a call. These people are now on the permanent staff. Permanent. Within the system, they're not on contract again. They don't have to sit down and wait for no call. They're on the permanent staff within the ministry. And they will go and tell them people and them go and protest against the government.
Yeah. So what, to throw away an opportunity and bring in a government who can't even pay salaries on time?
Now, these are the same people, too, who did not have to receive the type of pension that's being worked on for them right now. Government didn't even need to enter to that discussion. Government could have just said, look, the Armstrong case does not say that we have to deal with these people from after 1985. Nope. We're just dealing with these people between 1983 and 1985. We don't have to deal with these rest of people in that sense. But the government said, no, it's a moral issue. Past economic, past political, this is a moral issue that these people have done what they have to do for their country and therefore they deserve the best. Yep. We can't do it in a way that's going to cripple the rest of the country so that when grandma comes and she says she needs 2 blocks to put up a bathroom and toilet that you can't give her, that. Nope. That when rain fall and she getting wet and she say she needs just 2 sheets of galvanized you can't give her, we can't do it in a way that will bust the bank that she can't get. Or that later down the line you say, well, we cannot maintain the public service that we have at the salaries that we have and still maintain the amount of pensioners that we have and the entire thing collapse. It cannot be a situation like that. So there has to be some give and take so that the thing can be done properly. Because Barbados is entering into an IMF program. It's an IMF program that they're entering into. Grenada had a homegrown structural adjustment program with the IMF's blessing. They brought a program to the IMF. They didn't go to the IMF and say, give us a program. Grenada, the same His Excellency Timothy Antoine that you hear about right now, who has become the governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and who got that position 1 week after the editorial in the New Today was telling him to drop out the race. They should say a lie because I still have the newspaper home. The editorial in the New Today said to Timothy Antoine that due to his association with Dr. Mitchell, he would never get the position of governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank.
He's no match.
That he would never get that, so he should save the embarrassment and drop out of the race. 1 week later, he got the position. There's something in the water in Happy Hill. I'm going up in Happy Hill and bottle water. We're going and sell it.
That water
we're going and bottle our water in Happy Hill, but we're selling our water, boy. Happy Hill spring water. Well, it don't even matter come out spring. It could come out the pipe. Happy Hill water. We go in and bottle it and we go in and sell it. Because like something in the water in Happy Hill, the 2 men who were awarded the Governor of the Year for the Caribbean region and the Finance Minister for the Caribbean region come within, there's a mile, just about a mile from each other. They just within range.
Well, Timothy, he resides. He went to Happy Hill. But
he's a Happy Hill man.
No, he's not originally from Happy Hill.
Boss, he's a Happy Hill man.
Man, he was born, let's get technical, he was born in Mount Parnassus, Tempe.
Most are we born in the hospital. That don't make a difference. It's where we grew up. Most of we born in the hospital. Look over that one.
He was married and went to appeal.
Appeal people, they let him get away with that?
No, well, they ain't have no choice.
Coast Guard, all they let any man get away with that?
They ain't have no choice. That is a fact.
The man trying to flip the man into Mount Parnassus.
But how you mean? Every day when we coming out from school, we coming out with Timothy and them, you know. But anyhow, that's another
Let me ask Deepo a question. Deepo, I've lost all my copies of every book by Maurice Patterson. I need copies. Do you know where I can find copies of Maurice Patterson's books? I have lost all my copies.
Yeah,
that's why I do not lend books again. I'm back into my reading in a heavy way, and I'm not lending books. Yeah, so I need to get back some copies. I want my personal copy. I don't want to borrow somebody. I want my own copy. Yeah. So I need that. Hugh O'Shaughnessy, a lot of fake thing in that, you know. Yeah, that book, Grenada Revolution, Invasion, and Aftermath by Hugh O'Shaughnessy, it have a lot of fake information. It's a book, you could read it, but
you can read to kind of
read it with both eyes open wide, because there are a lot of fake thing in that.
Don't close your eyes at all.
Yeah, kind of thing about Cuba and them men was fighting all over the place and such nonsense.
But you know, Sheldon, definitely. I mean, I need help at Depot. You can point me some directions. Definitely have to put pen to paper with some of the information I have available to me, especially about October 19th.
Yeah, see, they're just
too much.
They're putting up some books there. So, folks, and it's important that you read. Read a lot. So
too much misleading information is coming to the fore, and nobody's disputing them.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, we were talking earlier about Dr. Mitchell's visit to the Ministry of Finance for the celebration, and he did mention not only Timothy Antoine, you know, he made sure that he mentioned Mike Sylvester. And Mike Sylvester, I think, is now attached to the International Monetary Fund.
Yep, he's doing a 2 year
and Ophelia Wells Cornwall, I believe she's presently the PS at the Ministry as well. So the entire team, basically the entire team out there at the Ministry of Finance, they have come in for some high praise.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that team at the Ministry of Finance, you ain't hear thing talking about like what going on out there in Barbados right now. And note, some people may say, oh, Trinidad, you're talking about a statutory body, you're talking about Petrotrin. That's only one, you know. The government itself has been looking at firing a lot of people out of the public service outside of the people in the statutory body Petrotrin, and the people who lose their jobs on the downstream and the down industries, the industries that supply things to Petrotrin and so. Outside of those, and the restaurants and so in areas like Marabella, Claxton Bay, Gasparillo, and all these areas, outside of that, you're going to have the situation where the government of Trinidad and Tobago is actually going to be retrenching public workers as well.
Wow.
Yeah? You're not having those kind of discussions here.
Good news. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. How are you doing, Devon and Sheldon?
Hey, morning, Deepo. Morning. How you doing?
Not bad at all. Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
The 3 copies of MP Maurice Patterson books. There's only one person I know of got them. What happened? They had about 15 copies, and somehow they just disappeared.
Wow.
And what the gentleman was trying to get the family members to give authorization to see if they could get it reproduced. But a lot of legal things were involved with that. So I myself, I only have 1 copy. I'm looking for the 2. Because it's required reading, man. It's really, you would understand what St. George's is and the businesses, where it came from, how it was purchased, how it was given up, So it's required reading, and why some people have the mindset they have today. You know, it's really amazing, But it's a difficult issues to get.
It's a difficult book to find.
I still keep trying to see maybe whether or not I could put my hands on some of these books.
Yeah, because I had copies. In fact, I've lost 3 copies so far of Big Sky, Little Bullet. And there's the other book that he did, the one that spoke about, the gentleman that owned Everybody's Store and so on.
Oh, yeah.
There's that book that he spoke with S.A. Francis and so on.
Yeah. Yes, Sir Francis. He's the only man that was able to make $2 counterfeit bill in Grenada.
don't go down.
People, you know, you see.
But Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you could contact Toro on the start of that thing, man. You know, because I'm trying to do something myself.
Toro.
But you know,
Yeah,
you and
Toro.
Porgy keep promising, and you all not doing anything.
Oh, me you're talking about?
you,
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I don't really. Well, okay. Tell you what, I'll get in touch with Toro.
To let Toro go straight.
Yes, and let Toro give me you know, his thing, because he definitely would help.
I have
us.
a name for the book, you know.
Well, we can discuss it. Inbox
You
me,
know,
man.
I'm giving you now scattered bullets. I'll talk to you guys, man. Take care.
Have a good morning. Scattered bullets. Wow.
When I hear them kind of thing, I just have to
Yeah, man. I say one Caribbean people support yes for our own Caribbean court of justice. Are you me?
Yes, folks, we have 18 minutes remaining on today's program.
Don't stand up, babe. We have to vote for CCJ. Don't stand up, babe. CCJ going all the way. Just look at.
Yesterday was World Food Day.
Yes.
I heard they had the biggest celebration for many, many years of World Food Day in Carriacou yesterday.
Okay.
I know for St. Andrew.
Yes,
but I heard in
St. Andrews
Carriacou,
was successful. Yeah.
in Carriacou, I heard they had one of the biggest celebrations for many years for World Food Day. They had it in Carriacou yesterday.
And that's good. That's good to know. Oh, also to
You looking judge grinding corn, we?
Yeah.
Hey, Papa, you know to walk a mill girl.
Tomorrow is also World Credit Union Day. Celebrating. I'll be celebrating somewhere in Grenada tomorrow. And so also October, the month of Child Month and the month of the elderly. And so as a reminder that we pay attention, I mean, not just in October, but every day of our lives, to our young ones and our elders, right? Because remember, once a man and twice a child, right? And so please pay attention to our young ones and our elders. Give them the support that they need in all ways. Come out and you know, show them the love.
We're coming down to the end of 2018, a very eventful year, elections and several achievements and so on. And, you know, when you look at Grenada and then you look at the other countries, you wonder, you know, because you look at Grenada and, okay, you look at Barbados, 1,500 people. They announced that they're sending that home. The Prime Minister in July of this year said that would be her last resort. And things that bad with the Bajan economy that she has gotten to her last resort. So her last resort, we've heard Prime Minister Mia Mottley. We know she could not have come to this decision easily. There had to be a lot of consideration until the realization was that, look, this is the only option that's open to us. And she has taken it. That's the direction that they are going. But that means now the entire public service over there now frightened, you know.
Yeah, because they don't know.
Because nobody know who. So everybody frightened, and they remember what happened in the round when the 3,000 went home. So they're afraid right now. So they're looking at 2019 in a bleak way and the end of 2018 in a bleak way. The crime situation in countries like St. Vincent, where you have had a number of really gruesome murders, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and so on, they're looking at the end of the year in a kind of like, oh gosh, let this year finish. Let me just get out of that and see if 2019 could bring something new for us. Trinidad,
the whole, I mean, unemployment situation again.
The government's signaling that some people from the public service will have to go home. They're tightening the belt. The Petrotrin, they can't continue to spend millions of dollars, billions of dollars really, on Petrotrin and so on, so that they're going to have to release people. They have to send home, and then the downstream industries and all the other industries associated with that industry, the people that are going to be going home. So they're looking at the end of the year now and they're kind of crying. You know, they're crying. Meanwhile, here in Grenada, last week alone, 850 young people engaged in the Imani program. That's 850 new ones, and not the ones that were there already. So 850. So instead of sending home, the Grenada government taking in people in productive things. So 850 there. Then, outside of that 850, you have 500 young men engaged in the Empower program. So you have 850 one way. You have 500 engaged under that program. But it doesn't stop there. Some of you passing by now, you're seeing the Silver Sand staff. Yes, I said Silver Sand staff, not the construction company staff who is constructing and doing the final work and so on the Silver Sands facility. I said the Silver Sands staff. They're wearing the Silver Sands t-shirt. Yeah. They're doing their training and becoming familiar with the facility itself so that when the facility opens, they're already aware of their surroundings and how to operate and operate at the standard that Silver Sands ought to be operating at. Yeah? But while we're talking about that here, and we're talking about, oh, you have the Newport facility built up there in Carriacou. While you're talking about the fact that you have that hotel facility, that mini hotel facility being built in Calavini. While we're talking about the fact that you have the hotel that's replacing the Flamboyant that's being constructed there. That's the Kimpton by Kawana. While you have that being done. While you have Cinnamon Hill having done some new facilities, some new villas, and those already being booked out until they're saying no, they have to build some more. Because they build, and by the time the last nail was driven and the last piece of grout was put on some tile, that was it. Those places were gone already. They have to do some more. While we're talking about that sort of activity here, and we ain't stopping there, you know, because you're talking as well about the fact that Silver Sands has gone through the process of engaging farmers throughout the island, provided some of those farmers already with irrigation equipment and other equipment and so on. To start production. Start production, because they want to be able to say that when they give you a breakfast, it's a Grenadian breakfast. Yeah. That what they put on your plate is a Grenadian breakfast. No cucumber come from Guyana.
Or carrot come from Miami.
No lettuce from Trinidad. Yeah. No pineapple that come from Florida.
Has to be here.
Everything on your table will be coming from Grenada. Yeah, and they have not just said it. They put their money where their mouth is. You have a lot of people that talk, but they wouldn't put their money where their mouth is. Silver Sands has put their money where their mouth is. How are they going to be engaging the fishermen and the various fishing associations? So when they want their little lambi and that kind of thing to provide their lambi thing, yeah. What they call it, ceviche. Yeah, so when they're going to provide that, or their lobsters, or they're going to provide their fish and so, it's fresh. Straight out from the Grenadian waters. Yeah?
1-2 days old, maximum.
So you're talking here, over the years, millions of dollars that Silver Sands is going to be spending on the agricultural sector here in Grenada. No, I'm not over-exaggerating. I'm telling you what is reality. Millions of dollars that they are going to be spending over the years in the agriculture and fishing industry here in Grenada. But some people don't want to have that discussion. They want to talk about the fact that it had a wall on the beach. The people admitted that they made a mistake. No, the people admitted, yes, we made a mistake. They corrected the mistake, and they still want to attack the people. That's what they want to focus on.
But they're scared to have that discussion when it comes to the development of our country over the last 5 to 6 years. They're very scared to even entertain that thought as to where we were and where we are presently. Because they understand when you reveal all the facts and you see the development and what has been brought to the Grenadian people, it's amazing. You know, so
look that message in. As he be saying, Silver Sand staff tapped First Caribbean Bank last week. Yeah, okay. When you go inside, there was mainly those people that working, and we're talking about the staff. We're not talking about while they are training. There's still loads of people doing construction work there. Those guys are working on the tiling and the painting and that sort of thing.
Doing the interior and everything like that. That's
so there are loads of people there working as well. But some people don't want to have that discussion. They want you to fall into a negative discussion, and they want you to go and discuss other things. They don't want to be talking about that. They don't want that conversation to go out there. They don't want you to know that positive things are happening in your country. Good things are taking place here in Grenada. Yeah? They don't want you to know that the new equipment is coming for the General Hospital Accident and Emergency Branch. So that some of the same services that you had to wait until the ship came here to be able to get, that you'd be able to get it at the new Accident and Emergency Wing of the General Hospital.
They don't want you to know that.
They want you to know that 5 new ambulances on the way. Which Minister of Health in the past could say that they got as much ambulances? In other words, the ability to transport you from the site of an accident or your home or wherever to the medical facility, which one could say that they've got that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And they don't also want you to know that very soon, very, very soon, as a matter of fact, this salt tunnel will be sometime on Friday. The new health center for St. John's and St. Mark's. You understand? They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to have that discussion because benefits is coming to the people. They don't want that discussion to be out there. And so, because the people are beginning to feel much more comfortable with the services that are being provided by this government.
No one is saying that the healthcare system is perfect.
Oh, no.
And starting from that point is where government understands the necessity to do the things that it is doing right now and the things that it will be doing. Which is why I'm so excited for the budget presentation.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel I will be early for the budget presentation. I might be there before the sunrise. Yeah. I have to get the exact date of the budget presentation because we want to tell you. Yeah, we know it's a smaller place. We can't take 1,000 and something people inside.
Nah, I can't take that.
Can't take 1,000. I think about 200 could go inside.
They might
have to put some tent outside and some screen.
Outside and so
you could come still.
Right, we go be streaming it live and so on. You know, giving people an opportunity to be part of that. I mean, historic moment. I mean, 2018, 2019 budget.
You're talking about sending home people. You're talking about providing pension for people.
Understand?
That alone supposed to tell you that something positive is happening.
Yeah. It has to be. Wow.
Anytime they come to you with their negativity, that's why all kind of thing they falling apart, all kind of thing anyhow. That's another story for another time, not me. KB, you would have discussed that one. KB, we will talk next week. Next week we will talk. Hey, KB, yeah, we will have that discussion next week.
I find KB cannot stay away.
Yeah. Hey, but tomorrow though, we'll be discussing the Caribbean Court of Justice, which is why we didn't go in depth into it today. Because tomorrow, we're going to address several of those issues you've been hearing, those red herrings that are being thrown. In other words, those little issues that are being raised to try and confuse your mind and make you doubt whether the intention of the Caribbean Court of Justice being the final court of appeal for Grenada is genuine. We're going to address that tomorrow. That's why we didn't go into it deeply today. Yeah, we want to discuss that with you in depth tomorrow. We're going to have some representatives from the CCJ Advisory Committee. They are going to be in studio with us tomorrow so that we can have that discussion. Because, you know, the young man who is sitting right now in gun battle and he flicking through stations and so, and he pick up hard talk. He wants to know, why should I get up that morning and go and vote for the CCJ? How does that benefit me? But young man, in case you end up in a criminal matter and you're innocent and the lower courts find you guilty, you might be innocent, you know. There might be something that the judges didn't look at and they just find you guilty. And you pass through the entire system and you know that you're innocent and you're sitting in prison there. And you want your final opportunity to free yourself. And your final opportunity is the Privy Council. You and I know that you can't afford to go to the Privy Council unless you have 20,000 pounds sit down somewhere. Yeah. And we ain't talking about 20,000 pounds at tuna or fish, yeah? We're talking about 20,000 pounds cash.
Paper.
Pounds sterling.
Yeah. And even, Sheldon, what about that young artist out there who has now been producing, I mean, wonderful music and so, and putting it out there, but has no protection, is being violated and so in terms of his property rights.
I mean, that's the thing. Suppose you write your song all nice and good here and you put it together and then all of a sudden you hear somebody in St. Lucia singing, so it happened to Boogie B, you know?
Exactly.
Boogie B did a song, Clear the Smoke, and then there was a guy in St. Lucia just take the song and sing it. He take the song wholly and solely and sing it.
So what are the protections?
Want to provide the opportunity for the artists here in Grenada. That's why you will hear Talpri. That's why you'll hear Mandela Links and you'll hear other artists, Black Wizard and so on, coming out and supporting the CCJ. They're not just singing something or just saying something. They are supporting it because they know as artists, as performers, as creative artists, people who create something, that there is protection for them. But as we say, we ain't going deep into the CCJ today because we're going to be going real deep.
Whole 2 hours tomorrow.
Real deep into the CCJ tomorrow. In fact, I feel we play national report or nothing. We're going straight into the discussion tomorrow. Yeah, as long as it gets here on time.
On time.
We're going to go into the discussion tomorrow on different aspects of the bills because there are people, and you could tell that Dr. Francis Alexis and Dr. Lawrence Joseph, so Lawrence Joseph, were not the lecturers to these people at the university when they did law. Because if they were, these people would have been at the level that they could have understood the Constitution of Grenada. These people would have been at the level that they understand the issues of natural justice and different aspects of jurisprudence. But it seems as though some of these people get a degree in a conflicts box, because I can't. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, but then again, I always say this thing.
I shouldn't say they get a degree in a conflicts box.
This thing is deliberate, because these persons, most of them, they are aware. They know what is at stake. They understand that that's the way Grenada has to go. But for some strange and unknown reason, they just decide to say no and make up all sorts of discussion to sway Grenadians away. But come on, we need to think of our country, the future of our country, not just about me and you, right? But to the generation that comes, their protection when it comes to legal matters and so, right? We need to do that. Right.
Indeed. And we're into our final 3 minutes of today's program. So let's just give you a reminder. Remember, the CCJ Advisory Committee, they're having that function at the St. Patrick Anglican School starting from 6 p.m. today. So come on out. You'll have different members of the CCJ Advisory Committee there to make presentations, but also to interact, to listen to your questions and so on, and your comments, and also to respond. So you're going to have a question and answer session as well. So that's going to be at the St. Patrick Anglican School starting from 6 p.m. today. All right. Also today in Carriacou, the Honorable Emlyn Pear, the Honorable Kendra Matthew Stewart, they're both at the Mount Pleasant Government School. Yeah. So you can head on out there. Those of you in Mount Pleasant and surrounding areas, you can head on out there. And remember, they're going to be discussing various issues. There was an issue at that school. Believe me, the Minister of Education would not come there and not discuss the issue. So there are different issues that will be discussed there at the Mount Pleasant Government School this evening in Carriacou. All right. And then St. Andrew Northwest, the Honorable Delma Thomas, she'll be at the St. Mary's RC School in Lafayette tomorrow. Just in case we get so deep in the CCJ, we start to forget. Yeah, tomorrow, the Honorable Oliver Joseph and Senator Kim George, they'll be out there at the St. Dominic RC School in St. David. So looking forward to seeing you all at these different activities. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be at all. I had to select. Oh gosh, there's only one me. Yeah, so we can't split me in three. Well, you could clone, and these days I think the cloning and all kind of thing. But anyhow, yeah, so those activities. So remember, the CCG Advisory Committee, they are having that meeting out there in St. Patrick today. Yeah, that's from 6 p.m. And you're having the meetings in Mount Pleasant in Carriacou. That's a constituency meeting. So they'll be discussing the issues at the school, they'll be discussing the economy, pension, all these issues will be coming up there. And issues specific to Carriacou, of course. Yeah. St. Andrew Northwest, same situation. And you'll also hear about the CCJ. All right? And then St. David tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the St. Dominic RC School. So, folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful being here with you. Yep. Yeah. It's been a wonderful day. So, remember, the next 2 days are going to be two heavy days.
Heavy days.
Be prepared. Heavy days, yeah. So, tomorrow, we're going to be discussing the CCJ. Yeah, we'll be having some learned gentleman or a gentleman in studio with us to discuss the issue of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and in specific going over different aspects of the bill that has passed through Parliament. And then on Friday, we're going to be having some wider discussions.
On October 19th.
On October 19th, we'll be speaking about October 19th.
Where we were and where we are right now.
I could tell you where I was. I was a child. Yeah. I was a child, a little one at that. Yeah.
Wow. A lot of people was born on that day.
Yes, indeed. Wow. Yeah. I was a child. You know. Yeah, I was a child at that point in time. So, folks, in whatever you say, whatever you do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
Yes, indeed. That's all the time we have for today. Let me see if I could find that ad to play. Let me see if I can play the ad as we head on out of here. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Love each and every one of you.
We voting yes for Caribbean Court of of Justice.
The Caribbean Court of Justice CCJ Advisory Committee invites the people of St. Patrick to a forum at the St. Patrick Anglican School on Wednesday, 17th October from 6 p.m. Come hear about making the Caribbean Court of Justice Grenada's final court of appeal. Various speakers will be there to enlighten you, followed by a question and answer session. Be part of the discussion at the St. Patrick Anglican School on Wednesday, 17th from 6 p.m. Be on time and be seated early. It's the CCJ Advisory Committee St. Patrick Forum.
I'm telling you, I going on vote. You going on vote. We going on vote.
Yeah, man. I say what?
My name is Jean-Louis Brocardi, and I'm the culinary director at Silver Sands, which means I'm in charge of developing all food and beverage concepts for the hotel. We've developed a relationship with a farming society. It's called Grenrop, and the head of Grenrop is Teresa Marichal. So as of this point today, we have about 35 farmers on board with our project, because my assessment when I came here 7 months ago is that there is definitely a problem here with this continuous supply of vegetable. It's not about the quality, but about the continuous supply. So rather than invest and spend money in transiting vegetables and fruits from Europe or from the United States, we decided to invest with local farmers in order to better the production and try to introduce new varieties of fruits and vegetables that would be suitable for our usage. So what we do is that through Teresa and Grenrop, we have brought in new grains. We've developed a nursery up in the Sauteurs area where we actually grow our seedlings, and then after that, we identify a farmer for a crop. So once we identify the farmers for the crop, we deliver the seedlings, and according to the needs that we're gonna have in different periods. So now we're good. We've actually had our first tomatoes, which are amazing. We're developing different kinds of zucchinis. We're developing different kinds of melons and watermelons, seedless watermelons. So the farmers over the past 5 months have gained confidence and a capacity and a capability to support them. Next to that, we are also talking about the farmers are teaching them how to do value-added products, which means that rather than have wastage on the products they don't sell, teach them how to transform their products to limit importation of other goods and create another source of revenue or income from them. For example, the overusage, the tomatoes that they don't use, transform it into tomato puree or tomato paste. The mangoes they don't use, do mango purees, mango jelly, mango juices, sun-dried tomatoes. So those are all things we're going to be working on with them. And I have acquired some equipment at Silver Sands to start doing it on a small scale to show them the capacity. But there are a lot more projects in my head and behind that we are working in to help them do that. Now, I'm very fortunate at Silver Sands that I have an owner and a general manager that is willing to support that drive, and that they do believe in investing in Grenada rather than spending money paying freight to bring it in. So I think it'd be more beneficial to the island, more beneficial to the farmers, and more beneficial to us, because our food system, if you want to have a good meal, you got to have a good product. And I do believe that Grenada is capable of producing an amazing variety of fruits and vegetables. So it's really, for us, the goal is to showcase that on our menu.
We are now here at the farm of Mrs. Teresa Marichal. Ms. Marichal is part of a program initiated through the Silver Sands project. The Silver Sands is one of the new luxury hotels in Grenada, and part of, I would say, giving back or helping to build the economy, they have invested in some farmers who are going to produce vegetables, herbs and spices to supply the hotel once it becomes operational, and Ms. Marichal is one of these lucky farmers. Ms. Marichal, tell us a bit about that actual project with the Silver Sands, in which farmers are getting the opportunity to plant crops and, have a financial benefit.
Welcome to Tea's Eco Garden at Bailey's Bacalet in St. David's. Presently, you're on my farm. As you see, I do herbs, chive, thyme, celery, parsley, dill, fennel, tarragon, all the rare herbs that you don't get in Grenada. You come here, you can have it. And I do lettuce, various types of lettuce, various varieties, and I do chickens, mainly eggs. Presently I have just around 1,200 layers at different stages.
So share with us now the link with the Silver Sands project, and you being one of the farmers who will be supplying to them once the hotel becomes operational.
Okay, in March of 2017, I was contacted by the general manager, Mr. Christian, where he heard about Grenrop, and he wanted to know much about what we are doing and where we're located, and so myself and the vice president, we set up the appointment with him, and we were able to go to visit him and say all about Grenrop and the members and what we are doing. And then we plan a visit, and the visit was on my farm, and he was excited in seeing what I'm doing, and we visit some other farmers. Hence the reason we were able to get that link with Silver Sands through the general manager. And then when the culinary director came in, they put him on to me, and I expanded the program when he told me what they were looking for, all the fruits and vegetables, but their motto is farm to table. So they wanted to get 99% of their produce locally. So I expanded it. Being an extension officer, I know a lot of the farmers, so I went to talk to some of the farmers, call a meeting. So presently we have about 30 farmers that will be growing crops for Silver Sands.
And what are some of the crops they're growing besides the fact that you are doing the herbs and varieties of lettuce and the eggs and so?
Here we're doing tomatoes, tomatoes, cabbage, salad peppers, the different colors, cauliflower, broccoli flower, all the vegetables you could think about. As I mentioned before, that is 99% local produce that they are looking for. And we have some farmers that are assigned to do 2 crops, some are assigned to do 3, some are assigned to do 1. Like the people with the tomatoes and the pepper, which is more tedious, and they have to be planting every 8 weeks. Some of them have 1 crop to do, the peppers and the tomatoes. They brought down some variety from France. We tried it out, and 3 farmers from in St. Andrews. They are looking good. They start harvesting, and they are very pleased with it.
How significant would you say this is in terms of a boost to our agriculture sector? We know that the government talk a lot, trying to get people to, return to the farms, plant more, and encourage people to eat local. But in terms of the farmers making that link with a foreign investor, because we know investors normally bring in their produce, and you're getting to farm here in Grenada. How significant is that?
It's very significant, because the farmers are very excited. They all sign up to grow various crops, and we start purchasing from them already, because the hotel have staff, they have the Egyptians here, and we start purchasing from them on a weekly basis. So it's a good boost for the farmers. They are excited. It's ready income, getting very good price, and I could tell you that the farmers are ready to go. And as we move on to the fields, you will see some of them with the eggplant and all the other crops that they are growing.
I'm actually now in conference at the farm of Mr. Leroy Peters. He's another of the farmers that is part of the program, the initiative with the Silver Sands project, in which they are producing vegetables and so for supply to the hotel. Mr. Peters, you're producing specifically for the hotel eggplants, these special tomatoes and zucchini. First, I want you to tell us about the importance of this program, because we hear about investment in the country. Sometimes we hear that, it's just wall and concrete investment, but from the construction of a luxury hotel, you as a farmer, will be able to benefit doing exactly what it is you love, farming.
Yeah, well, it's important that when these hotels are built and the guests come, that they be fed with most of the things that have been grown local. And as was pointed out by the chef of that particular establishment, that he wants to supply his guests from the farm straight to the table, locally as much as possible. And that also augurs well for our nation, especially the farmers, whereby we have less on the input bill and we have more of the money being generated from the farm circulated within our economy.
A special tomatoes, it's sort of a pinkish in color, and you're one of the farmers. You would have planted it as a test run. So tell me about, the germination process, growing of it, and the fact that now that you all realize that it can actually grow here.
Yeah, well, it was first placed at the nursery where we, we germinated it, and it did very well. It was small packets. The seeds we got about 90 to 95% germination, and then after about 2 weeks we would have transferred it to the field here, and we monitored it. We do all the necessary cultural practices, drainage, cleaning, and we give it for the required fertilizer, and then we looked at them and we realized that they are doing very, very well, and this in itself is a plus, seeing that we are able to produce the sort of tomatoes in Grenada what the hotel really requires. As you can see, we have harvested. This is about the 4th to 5th harvest we are harvesting here now, and they're doing pretty well, very well.
So after this stage, when you would, fix up the farm, and so how many seeds you think, how many plantlets you think you'll be putting out anytime soon?
Well, we will do in accordance to the what the hotel requires. We don't want to plant excess or too little. As they give us the instruction in terms of the guest list, we plant accordingly, because we don't want to waste the product. We don't want to have too much, so that a lot will go to waste. So we want to have just the right amount, so that we'll be able to provide exactly what the hotel needs. And probably others who want to try them out, we're going to give them, sell a few for them as well.
And another of you're doing the eggplants. Tell us about, the eggplants, how that has been going. And
yes, the eggplant, as you have seen on the other side, is doing pretty well. Upon hearing about the project and getting involved, I decided to do that plot there, and it did extremely well. I was able to, the hotel is not yet absorbing as much because as they are in the just construction stage, but I was able to supply some of the restaurants, the supermarkets with some of the eggplants. They did very well. The variety is very special. They're very large, soft, tender, and the customers love it.
You are also planting zucchinis. Tell me about the process. Is it a vegetable that is easily grown? Is it one that you would need to give a lot of attention to?
Well, it's my first time planting zucchini, and this one requires a lot of attention based on my experience. I would have planted it, and I'm not seeing the progress that I really, would like to, based on what I know what this vine crop somebody gave. So I need to have a second try at it again to see, how I can grow it successfully. This is my first, as I said, and I'm fighting up with it.
So as a farmer, when you look at what is supposed to be nation development and, being able to turn your economy around and help for farmers so that, finances and so on, what would you say to our government in terms of ensuring that in the future, when investors come, like the Silver Sands, and they construct big hotels, and so that similar projects like this is done to ensure that, the farmers get an opportunity to earn their livelihood?
Yeah, that is very important. I think that the government, within the policy and the arrangement with these build these investments, they should at least include within a clause within the arrangement that they should be buying from the farmers under proper arrangement, pricing and whatnot, so the farmers themselves will be able to have direct benefits. Because I know in Grenada, as far as a farmer, we are quite capable and able to grow mostly everything that the hotels prepare for the guests and whatnot. Nonetheless, I still believe that sometimes we need to be more consistent, because as you know, guests are always coming and the hotels need to feed the guests. As farmers, we need to be more consistent. But I think once the government put that policy in place, or that clause in place with the investors, the farmers are going to benefit direct, and our economy is going to be impacted positively.
And what do you say to the whole Silver Sands investors and so forth? You know, you being part, what do we see as a pilot? And the pilot has proven that the program can extend.
Sure. I want to say to them that they too must encourage their colleague hotel people to get on board, get the farmers involved, and let's get it going. Because we are capable of doing it as a farmer. As farmers, we are proud to be associated with the Silver Sand, and I think that it is a success already. And I believe that if all the other hotels do likewise, we as farmers are going to benefit, and the country at large are going to directly prosper.
So we're now on another farm, all part of that initiative, that program with Silver Sands, the new luxury hotel that is being constructed on Grandlands Beach, where they're trying to get food from the farm to the table through a farmer's program. We're here in Pearl St. Andrew, and this farmer is Mr. Joel Gludd, and he is planting okra and salad peppers for the Silver Sands. Tell us a bit about how did you get involved in this project, and how important you see this project for you as a farmer in terms of livelihood.
I consider them to be very serious, because you know, when they came here, they talked to me after they invited me to meetings, and what they said, you know, to me, you know, they come here and they fulfill what they are saying. So I really appreciate that, because I like that. I don't like to play, because farming is a lot of hard work. You want to work with serious people, and so far it seems, you know, they're going to be serious. So I appreciate that very much.
So is this the first time that an investor has come to Grenada and is constructing or has constructed a hotel, and they have reached out to you as a farmer in terms of contracting you to produce for them?
That is the first time, and it seems to me that the experience is good. Although I must say that Mr. Leroy, you know, that is me, Peter, that is the one, you know, that really introduced me to them. And as I told him, I don't like to play, because, you know, before some people, you know, wanted me to plant for them, but, you know, they didn't really, you know, come up good. But, you know, I told him that, and he says, anytime you see him in something, it's because it's going to be serious. And so far, as I can say, I repeat, I could see the seriousness in them, and I'm willing to work with them.
Okay, I'm here now at a farm in Dunfermline. It's a farm of Mr. Ken Licorice, and he is farming cabbage, tomato and pawpaw for the project for the Silver Sands, to ensure that they get food from the farm to the table. First of all, how do you feel to be a part of this program?
I feel good to be a part of the program.
Is this the first time that you're being contracted to farm for one of the big hotels on the island?
Yes, I am.
And what do you think of that initiative in terms of farmers being able, you know, to generate more income?
It's a very good initiative.
Okay, so it's a very good initiative for you. And how many acres or what percentage of your farm would you devote to the cabbage, the pawpaw, and the tomatoes for the program?
Well, I supposed to do like running crops, so I will have to devote a large portion of the farm for the project. Okay. Here is not the only place that I do farming. I have like 3 other holdings, so I will have to do things like pawpaw, and tomato at different stages.
Is it a special tomato that they gave to you, or is the normal tomato and cabbage that you farm?
Well, these tomato that I have here right now is tomato that they gave me. We're doing it as a trial. So we want to see if the shelf life is, we want to have a long shelf life. So if they have a long shelf life, we're going to use this variety.
Okay. How is it standing up thus far, the seedling, since you've planted?
Well, I planted some of them like 3 days ago and some of them 8 days ago. And because of the weather we've been having, I cannot do the right thing that I'm supposed to do. I cannot put them on beds because the soil is so compact with the water. So I just have to do it flat and do it on the gentle slope so some of the water could run off.
So with this contract that you have with the Silver Sands to provide the vegetables, does that mean that you'll be able to employ others, or you already have a steady?
Well, for labor, I only have like 3 persons, and it's very hard to find labor because when people come, they don't remain for no long period of time. I don't know what is the problem, but they don't remain for no period of time. They just work for about past a week, 2 weeks, and they're just gone.
So you think you'd have to get some serious people with you so you could ensure that you deliver on time to the hotel?
Well, yes, I would have to get delivered, but it's serious people to deliver on time, but it's very hard to find labor.
Thank you.
Reliable labor, I have to say.
Folks, you know my stance and you know I'm a principled person. I have stated very, very clearly that the CCJ is the way to go, and it is inevitable. Look, now people could have reservation and you have a right to, that's your business. But at the end of it all, we would have to handle our own affairs here in the Caribbean. We would have to have our own system, and I am simply saying the time is now. The time is here for us to do so. And look, we can have disagreements. We can look. I've stated on the program my position, and there are people who say straight up, Kem, I don't agree with your position, and they challenge and they say certain things, and I respect that. We should have a healthy debating going forward. Tomorrow we will have Joseph Roberts or some of his acquaintances or some of his colleagues to come in and speak about the CCJ, and you have the opportunity to ask a number of questions the same way. But I am telling you folks, you have listened to me many a years. I am confident that the CCJ is the way to go. It may not be perfect, and nothing in life is perfect. Nothing in life except God himself. But I am simply saying this is something that you need to look at. Give it a try. Look at it. Listen to both arguments. I am convinced that the CCJ is better for this region than the Privy Council at this point in time. And I am saying it will be better for many, many years to come. So I am simply asking of you to vote yes for the CCJ.
The National Democratic Congress is not and has never been opposed to the CCJ. In fact, previous administrations led by the NDC have done lots of work to push forward the work of the CCJ, and that can be attested to by Brother Peter David. The CCJ is another step towards the achievement of Caribbean unity. And in the NDC, we know that eventually, one way or the other, the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction will become a reality, not only in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean.
We speak here of access to the CCJ. We also speak to affordability of the CCJ, because the CCJ has taken a decision to have matters heard in our respective countries. So if a matter, there are 5 matters in Grenada, they'll come to Grenada to hear the matters. So you don't have to pay any tickets to go to Trinidad, no matter how close Trinidad is. You simply take a bus and pay $2 and go and let your matter be heard. And it is even taking into consideration your socio-economic condition. If you cannot afford the fees, it shall make arrangements to set it aside on your behalf. So, for many of us, access to justice could very well be free. Could very well be free, only if you vote yes for the CCJ and you get the 2/3. It's a very simple message to you, that you have a duty to yourself and an obligation to your nation and to succeeding generations to vote in support of the CCJ. So when you go to this polling station, look for the 3-letter word.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about me, this is about all of you and all of us. But I want to say one thing before we start. In 1979, a number of our young people did something that reverberated around the world. Something that it may not have lasted forever, but has, in a world of no cell phone and no internet and no fax machine or nothing like that, has established institutions that today we are very proud of. MNIB, National Insurance Board, and the airport. You know, we should have been the first one signing on to the CCJ. We should have been. I don't know what happened, but given what we did then, we should have been the first. So keep that in the back of your minds with those of you who have all the excuses in the world as to why we shouldn't do it.
Grenada is about to embark on another historic mission of amending its constitution for the first time since its independence. From all indication, the push is for the changes to be made before the end of the year, 2 years after the first attempt failed.
I believe the CCJ is an important issue to take a second look at, and we're involving the same people, the community group, the legal professions, and other parties involved. And hopefully we'll have everyone playing a very united role in going forward, because if we do not work together, then clearly it's not necessarily going to pass. And I think it would be a tragedy of justice for this country and for the Caribbean. But I think it's about time that we stop having faith in everybody else but ourselves. All people, jurists have served regional and international institutions around with distinction. And it would be, to me, almost an insult to say to ourselves that we cannot be responsible for justice in our country.
2 years ago, 8 bills were tabled for constitution change. But this time around, the focus is on one which, if successful, will see the Caribbean Court of Justice replacing the London Privy Council as the final court of appeal. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, who was re-elected to office by a landslide victory on March 13, 2018, says he intends to play an active role this time around.
And the CCJ so far has demonstrated that it has stood out in terms of its decision-making process. And no one can say that the governments who are now the countries that are now part of the CCJ are getting decisions based on the govern those in political office. So in that sense, the people should be very happy that it's very independent judicial process, and I certainly, as a Grenadian and a Caribbean man, I certainly would want to support it. I will play a much more active role this time than I did the last time.
The bill seeking the constitutional change is already out. It's called the Constitution of Grenada Caribbean Court of Justice and Other Justice-Related Matters Amendment Bill 2018, one of the 8 attempted 2 years ago. It includes almost everything in the 2016 bill, but removed are the sections that speak about the code of conduct for public officials and the swearing allegiance to the country. Debate has continued over the years about doing away with the Privy Council and replacing it with the Caribbean Court of Justice system, the CCJ. The Privy Council in London and the CCJ based in Trinidad are both a final court of appeal that retries civil and criminal cases if the original ruling is thought not to be satisfactory. But proponents argue that the CCJ, formed and operated by the Caribbean people, would allow for a sense of independence and would make access to a fair trial much easier.
The arguments in favor of independence, the CCJ being an independent court, and in fact, the CCJ being one of the most independent courts in terms of structure and appointment of judges, not just in the region, but it is used as a model for other courts, particularly in relation to financing and in relation to the selection of judges. And that ultimately is the test.
There have been some recurring points of concerns about the idea of the CCJ as Grenada's final court of appeal, access, cost, and the likelihood of political interference.
What the CCJ has done and what has been approved with respect to the CCJ is the setting up of this independent trust fund that is managed by a board of trustees. And what is important about that board of trustees and the composition of that board of trustees is that you have no politicians at all on that board.
Former Minister of Legal Affairs Elvin Nimrod tabled the bill in Parliament in 2016. Newly appointed Minister of Legal Affairs Honorable Kindra Mathurin Stewart says the implementation of the CCJ to Grenada will enhance the judiciary system of the trial and state.
For Grenada to have access to the CCJ as its final appellate court, that would mean for us here in Grenada that our people would have greater access to justice. As you know, with the Privy Council, persons had to travel far to England to access the Privy Council. But of course, the CCJ is right next door, and I believe, of course, with its location and its ease of access, that locals, ordinary people like me and you, would be able to have access to justice.
The Legal Affairs Minister says she believes there are competent experts here that are capable to execute the process.
I believe that we in the Caribbean are capable of creating and making our own jurisprudence. We don't have to depend on English judges and English folks to make jurisprudence for us. And I believe that we are well capable. We've had notable jurists and persons coming out or emanating from the Caribbean, CARICOM. And I believe that we possess that talent, we possess that experiences, and I believe that we are well poised to create our own jurisprudence. That in its sense alone too would basically signal, of course, a greater independence for us as an independent nation of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
In October of 2016, the Grenada Constitution reform was held, where citizens took to the polls to cast their ballots for or against the implementation of the CCJ as the final appellate court. Constitution reform process then was denied based on the outcome of the votes. Although CARICOM created the CCJ as a replacement for the Privy Council, it did not fully replicate the British system. Instead, it chose to copy certain practices while creating other divergent ones. Residents here say while they are willing to accept the change, there must be proper consultation on the subject.
Public education, and my first observation is that there are too many lessons, or if not lessons, too many chapters, or if not chapters, too many books to be learned within that space of time. The bills, the issues for the referendum, they are significant enough and far-reaching to have what I refer to as a limited time.
That of the CCJ, which country like Trinidad, Barbados,
country which implemented that CCJ and they are ineffective already, they still go to the Privy Council for hearing in the jurisdiction. So we go into the CCJ now. We are neglecting the Privy Council and go to the CCJ. And them countries which are still implementing the CCJ, the Privy Council for hearing. So how that go be looked when we neglect the Privy Council and go to the CCJ, and them countries which implemented the CCJ are still under the Privy Council.
During the swearing-in ceremony, after winning all 15 seats at the 2018 general election, Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell reassured the nation that consultation and education on the process will soon resume.
As each of us seeks to protect and save our children, we must look out also for our neighbors' children. And to the broader issue of justice. And as it is also related to our independence and to our national identity, we must open up a dialogue again about joining the Caribbean Court of Justice.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.